The term hijabi, I think, originated from within the Muslim hijabi community, and I think it's like combined with like the English E thing. That's not Arabic, and the term hijab is Arabic, and I think it's just like a easy slang term. I don't know, like I don't think people outside of the hijabi or Muslim community are very familiar with it, that they would use it in a way that'd be like offensive at all. Like I think I would actually be impressed if somebody was like, oh, so you're a hijabi? I'd be like, oh yeah, you know the terminology. There are created terminology. There's actually a really distinct Muslim American culture, and it's very interesting because I think there's a lot of people who come from either the Middle East or like Southeast Asia, like these predominantly Muslim areas, who are first generation Americans like myself. And we grew up in, and I think our parents have raised us in a way that we identify most importantly with our Muslim religion more than with our culture. And so it's very interesting. You know how like there's like memes and like, you know, those like stuff Hispanics say, you know, like those videos that they had, like all these cultural things that arise, like we have all these Muslim ones too. And so I think that's where like hijabi comes from. I wear the hijab for multiple reasons. I think the most common one that people think is like, oh, her dad forced her, or like to protect her from like the lustful gazes of man and like all this dark stuff. And like, if I had to answer, there are several reasons, like I said. The biggest one is that I'm a Muslim woman and I believe that it's a commandment of God to dress modestly. And hijab really, it's actually even extends to your character. It's not just an external thing. When we look in the mirror, Muslims, we say, it's a prayer, it says, may God beautify my inner character and manners just as he has beautified my outer physical appearance. And so the fact of the matter is that God has created us, and like we believe that God has created us perfectly. And my concern is to focus on the inside and to make my inside beautiful. There's definitely like a rising like Muslim fashionista movement, and like there's actually a Muslim Fashion Week is coming up. I think it's in March. I really wanted to go, but it's after our spring break. And so I love it because there's a thing like the culture. So like my mom, she wears the long dress, the jilbab, and that's part of her culture where she came from in Egypt. But I grew up in America, and like I wear jeans, you know, and I want to make sure that that's something that's, you know, that works. It's still modest, so I'll wear something long with it, you know. Modesty and fashion totally can coexist. They totally can. And I think that's why these fashion designers are really, really unique. What they're doing, they come up with these styles, and then like while they're still similar to like some fashion trends that we might see like on a traditional American runway, they also like are wide. And so like one thing that that's really sweeping the Muslim fashion world right now is like the idea of long sleeve maxi dresses, which is like it's perfect because like there's maxi dresses are great. Usually they're not long sleeve though. And so like we'll have to layer. That's a big thing hijabis have to do. We have to layer things all the time. So like hoodies are great, but if you don't want to wear them with like sweatpants, like let's say I want to wear them with like regular jeans, I'd probably want it to be a little longer. So like I've seen these different companies, rising companies, that they make long sweatshirts, or they make hijabi workout gear and stuff. Like, you know, it's really awesome because it's something that I can't work out on a jilbab, and I don't want to wear a jilbab because I mean it's perfectly modest, but it's not my style. And I love that I can have that style, like, and I can be creative with my style while also like observing those lines of modesty. And there definitely have been like tensions between the two because it's hard to like, you know, when you're like skinny jeans are really in, but sometimes they're not always that modest, you know, or by some standards, at least some people's standards. I mean, that's the thing though, like each person is free to make their own choice, you know, so like I dress in a way that I find most modest, and like we're all trying to do our best. It's not like it's like, oh, she's not modest, like, or like she's not up to par. Like that's not like that, and it shouldn't be like that. I think it's a matter of like, you know, if you're wearing something that's really tight that really accentuates like your curves, for example, like that's pretty hot. Like, you know, you want to, that's the kind of thing that you want to be wary of. So it's not a matter of like just attracting attention of like in general, because like I'm a member of society, like I'm going to be here, I'm not going to hide myself from people at all, like, you know, like, and I'll be in the forefront, like I have no problem with that at all. It's just a matter of I want to be in the forefront because of something that I've done or something that I've come up with, not because of how I look. And like we obsess over these things, and it can really be unhealthy that like we do care so much about our appearance, and it can consume us. Like you can start to care so much about how you look that you're not there, that you're not like living in the moment, you know. And so I think that's what we want to like as when we wear the hijab, that's what we're trying to prevent. And like that's why I'm saying hijab is not just this cloth. It's a lot more. It's a lot more on the outside and on the inside as well. It's like a whole thought process, honestly.